Hello, everyone. I would like to call to order the McKinney Chapter Sons of the American Revolution meeting. And thank you all for being here this evening. Hopefully the weather will cooperate with us. At this time, would you please stand for the invocation and all that?
God our Father, giver of life, we entrust the United States to thy loving care. For thou art the rock on which this nation was founded. Thou alone art the true source of our cherished rights, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Proclaim this plan for thy glory and dwell among thy people. Send thy spirit to touch the hearts of our nation's leaders. May they cherish what our forefathers cherished. Open our minds to the responsibility that accompanies freedom. Remind thy people that true happiness is rooted in seeking and doing thy will. And may we live in such a way that those who sacrifice for this nation will be proud of, that we may also be called patriots. In Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. All right.
Hey, Tom. Yes, whoops. Can you clear it for 1 second? Tom? Could you check the video? It's like,
You'd also please join me in the pledge allegiance to the United States flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And also the pledge to the Texas flag, Peter Ford. Sure. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas. One state under God, one indivisible. Also, the pledge to the SAR flag clause. We, the descendants of the heroes of the American Revolution, who fly thousands and the United States of America, we are making principles of liberty and our fatherly development, and all declare ourselves the benefit of considering brother. Please be seated. And at this time, we will have our self-introductions, and he's also got some more bread. Anyone wants some bread? Thank you. I just do my skill here. I don't want to.
I'm not going to son here. This might be my first time here to this meeting. Chapter here. I don't know if I'm a member yet, but if not, I will be soon. So thank you. Welcome.
where's that point? Where's the pointer? Right here.
And I'm David Gilson.
Where is this? Oh,
My name is Paul Andreessen, and I'm transferring into this chapter from South Carolina.
Maybe I'm.
My name is Eddie Jones, and
Are you on the wrong side?
Newbie.
Like the camera? Is that yours?
Soon to be a member of the conversation that
There you go.
Board transfer to chapter, my wife Joy. My name is Bill Graham. I'm from the Oklahoma chapter. Oklahoma Society, also chapter. Came down into Melissa about 6 months ago and looking for a chapter to join. And it's my wife Joanna, the GAR.
Think you found it. Searches at.
I'm Ted Wilson, Amanda and Carol, and also a member of this chapter.
34th, Dallas chapter new member, just got approved, so. Time to be here.
Peter Ford, McKinney chapter, I'm the treasurer here.
Welba Dorcey, Mary Ashton Keith chapter, DAR.
Joe Chimwith, member of this chapter live in Allen.
With Dorothy, part of Texas chapter at SAR.
Good evening, I'm Pete McClellan, I'm with McKinney chapter.
Ross, will you secretary? And on the Zoom call, we have Tom Foster, John Greer, Richard Zdunkewich, Barnett, and Kevin Ennis.
I'm Jerry Pinker, and I'm a member of the Dallas chapter, and many of you have probably someone's talked to me before. I'm an inland registrar, so all of you new members come through me.
Be nice to him.
Yeah.
Jerry Kane, McKinney chapter.
Rich Bonaparte, McKinney registrar, my wife left.
Mark Morgan, my wife Sammy, thank my application is up to the national. August 22nd.
Yeah, all right.
For the we're doing it now.
Back there, Eric.
Watch this.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm Kevin Ingers, the McKinney chapter, and I'm president of the Denton chapter. And this is my wife, Sandy.
Gary Townsend, McKinney chapter.
Over there.
Watch
Eric,
it.
I think somewhere down there.
Last, number was.
Thank you. Well, it is Constitution Week and we have one wonderful speaker tonight. I'm allowed a pommel. Yeah, for that. Okay. There are two things here to do first. Of our historical moment. I apologize in advance if I say something that you're going to say again.
It's okay.
Okay, good. Okay.
You learn by it.
So this is our historical moment. I've got a title, Constitution Day. Last Sunday, we celebrated Constitution Day. On this date in history, September 17, 1778. The United States Constitution is adopted by the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia. The Constitution was made to replace the failed Articles of Confederation, America's first governing document. On this day, 39 delegates signed the document. Over the next 2 years, each state held its own ratification convention and debated the merits and weaknesses of the Constitution. The Constitution required that 9 of the 13 states ratify it in order to make it become law. On June 21st, 1788, New Hampshire became the 9th state to ratify, and the Constitution became the law of the land. The last state to ratify was Rhode Island on May 29th, 1790. Today, the United States Constitution is the oldest functioning constitution of any state in the world. Okay. So at this time, I have the honor of presenting our speaker of this evening. Welba.
Well, it's okay.
Oh, yeah, turned it this way. Okay, I got it. Welba Claire Smith Dorcey. Right? Okay, we got the right person to it. Is a multi-generational native Texan born in Belton and is a graduate of the Copperas High School. She attended Tarleton State College and is a graduate of Texas Christian University with a Bachelor of Science in Elementary Education. In addition, she has taken graduate courses at Texas Women's University. During her professional career, Welba
has taught at Sanger and then independent school districts, Westcliff Methodist Preschool, and Genesis Preschool. Welba is a member of the Mary Isham chapter DAR since 1996. Okay, so Welba is a docent and a trustee at the Bell County Museum. He's past president, past Texas State DER Museum Outreach Chair, past NSDAR Museum Outreach Vice Chair, South Central Division, past Texas State DER Constitution Chair, past Texas State DER Insignia Chair, right? She's a corresponding docent for the NSDAR Museum. She's an honorary regent and advisor of the Mary Isham Key chapter of the NSDAR. She's advisor to the Betty Martin chapter. Betty Martin chapter in SDR. She's a genealogy consultant with the NSDR. Should I go on or stop?
Stop.
No, I'm gonna read them all. No, I don't even have them all. I got, after a while, I was getting to the bottom of the page. I tried to look at this one page. Anyway, let's see here. I got that one. Let's see. Okay. She's a member of the Jamestown Society, Daughters of the Republic of Texas, Colonial Dames, Daughters of American Colonists, United States Daughters of 1812, and the United Daughters of the Confederacy. Welba has 3 children, 4 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. She's here tonight with her husband of 63 years, Edward. There you go. Okay. Please welcome Welba Dorcey.
I did tell him to be brief. But he didn't listen.
I didn't think about that. You can ask Carol back there about that.
We're gonna try this without the microphone. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Is there anyone who can talk?
It's the Zoom people.
I don't like microphone. I was a school teacher, so I will use my school teacher voice. If at any time you cannot hear me, please raise your hand. We are just 2 years and several months away from celebrating our 250th anniversary since the signing of the Declaration of Independence and the fighting of a Revolutionary War to secure that independence. The war officially began April 19, 1775 at Lexington and Concord. The written declaration to formalize the intent to sever ties with Great Britain was 15 months later in being announced. On July 4th, 1776, simultaneously, the Congress was writing, they were writing the declaration. They began to work on developing the guidelines for a centralized form of government. These were called the Articles of Confederation, and they were adopted in November of 1777. They were ratified 1781 in March. The war was over. Peace was declared. The treaty had been signed September 3rd, 1783. Soon after the war, the states went back to behaving like they had before, concerned about themselves, their own economic life. They didn't really have unity. And people like George Washington and Alexander Hamilton and James Madison could see the crumbling of this fragile United States. So they got together and asked Congress to form a grand committee to revise the Articles of Confederation. Now, the Articles of Confederation were really great. They wanted to draw money from the states, that was okay. They could request the funds, but they couldn't enforce them and get them. Enforcement powers are powers to make the printed money. And so there was a lot of revisions that need to be done. So this convention was called. Now, in early May of 1787, the delegates began to trickle into Philadelphia to see the stifling hot assembly room. Travel was so uncertain that it was May 25th before there was enough members there to make a quorum so they could vote, and that only required representatives of 7 states. Over the period of 14 weeks, 55 men congregated in Philadelphia. They were sitting in the State House in this horrible heat. There was rarely a group there more than 46 at any time. I think that was the maximum they ever had. There were 55 men. The youngest delegate was 26. The oldest was 81. That was Benjamin Franklin. He was in failing health, but his mind still functioned. Of these 55 delegates, 33 were lawyers, 21 had fought in the Revolutionary War, 7 had been governors of their state, and 8 had signed the Declaration of Independence. They had almost all been members of Congress. They were well educated, several, well, probably most in foreign countries. They were appointed by their state legislature, and this brilliant gathering of reason and creativity was to draw up an operating manual for a machine of government that had not yet been born. Although they had gathered to revise the Articles of Confederation by mid-June, they decided that wasn't going to work, and they decided to redesign the government. But there was little agreement about how that was going to look. They were in the assembly room from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., 6 days a week. Remember how hot and sweaty this is? But most of the negotiation happened at the places the men gathered at night. And sometimes the negotiations went on until wee hours in the morning. But nothing was solved. They argued. They were uncomfortable because remember it's hot and they had these clothes that are all tied and they were wearing wigs. There was typhoid and malaria and smallpox, the bloody flux and more illness that was sweeping through Philadelphia. There was rickets and scurvy everywhere. Now, outside, dirt had been spread over the cobblestones to muffle the sounds of the carts and the carriages. Well, there was a little problem with this because it was so hot when they raised the windows, the dirt came in from the cobblestones, as well as the bugs, the insects and the flying bugs. If they closed the windows, it was terribly hot. Windows open, everybody could hear the secret meetings that were going on. Close the windows, we're miserable. In May, the convention convened. It would be September before the document rose. Various plans were presented, debated, rejected, tempers flared, squabbles and arguments over everything. Members would leave in disgust or disappointment, and for 4 months in these terrible conditions, they worked to give birth to our Constitution. In July, not an iota of progress had been made, but there was a break in the heat. And that changed the attitudes of the delegates. They could sleep at night. It was a little bit cooler, and the meeting room wasn't quite so stuffy. One of the fiercest arguments was over the representation. The Congress. Should it be based on population, or should it be based by states? 2 days after the cold front came through, or the cooler weather came in, a compromise was made, and they solved the problem. There was going to be a distribution of population for every 30,000 people. You would get one representative in the House of Representatives, and every state would have 2 representatives in the Senate. But there was another issue. Slavery. It just almost derailed our union. But it finally was agreed that the slave trade would continue till 1808. That was just a temporary fix. And every slave would count as 3/5 of a person. So the delegates were able to work with this compromise. After 3 hot summer months of equally heated debate, the committee of detail was to put the decisions in writing. And near the end of the convention, a committee of style and arrangement needed this into the final form. They had 23 articles, which they condensed to 7 in less than 4 days. Now, the Constitution was signed by 38 delegates on September 17, 1787. George Reed signed for John Dickinson of Delaware, giving them the 39th signature. There were some that refused to sign. It was an extraordinary achievement, tasked with revising the existing government. The delegates came up with a completely new one. Wary about centralized power and loyal to their states, they created a powerful central government. Representing wildly wide views, they compromised and have made the longest lasting constitution in the world. And it is also used as examples by other countries to this day. The convention at Philadelphia was described by both Washington and Madison as a miracle. Now, the Constitution of the United States contains a preamble, 7 articles describing the way the government is structured and how it operates. The first 3 articles establish the 3 branches of government and their powers. There is the legislature, which is our Congress. There is the executive, which is our president. And there is the judicial, which is our federal court system. Now, there is a checks and balance system in place to prevent any one of these powers becoming dominant. Articles 4 through 7 describe the relationship of the states to the federal government and establish the Constitution as the supreme law of the land, and define the amendments and the ratification process. The ratification was kind of interesting because they didn't want the state legislatures to get it and decide they didn't want their powers taken away. So they had ratification conventions. That's all they did, was to ratify that document. Well, there were 6 of them that were for it, but you had to have 9 out of the 13 that were to be ratified. Well, the Federalists believed in the strong government, and they got out and they hustled and they got these down to enough to ratify, and to ratify Michigan. No, not Michigan, excuse me, Massachusetts. Kind of on the borderline, ratified it when they guaranteed a Bill of Rights. So they vote now, amend later. The amendments were very important. James Madison the amendments, let's see. Many Americans persuaded by a pamphlet written by George Mason opposed this new government. Mason was the one of 3 delegates present on the final day of the convention who refused to sign the document. Now, James Madison had opposed this document, the Bill of Rights in the beginning, because it wasn't necessary. He said, quote, the government can only exert the power specified by Constitution, end quote. But they considered that they would have agreed to do these amendments. And when it came time, James Madison was one of the ones that was most in favor of this, because he realized that the voters would that the voters attached to these protections and the role enshrining them in the Constitution would educate the people about their rights, and the chance adding them would keep the opponents from making more drastic change. And so he selected 12 amendments to be submitted to the people. On September 25th, 1789, the first Congress of the United States proposed 12 amendments to the Constitution. The 1789 Joint Resolution of Congress proposing these amendments is on display in the rotunda in the National Archives Museum in Washington, D.C. 10 of these proposed amendments, 12, were actually ratified by 3/4 of the state legislatures on December 15, 1791. The ratified articles constitute the first 10 amendments, which is known as the Bill of Rights. I find this interesting that in 1992, 203 years after it was proposed, Article 2 was ratified and is our 27th amendment to the Constitution. Article 1 was never ratified. If you go back and look, you can look them up on your computer and you try to read Article 1, you'll know it doesn't make any sense to anybody. But these articles were 12, 10 were passed, and the others, one of them came. You have others that are 11 through 27, and those are worth your paying attention. Now, if you have a little piece of paper that says the amendment, would you please come up here and get in order 1 through 10, because we're going to read your Bill of Rights. I want you to come through here, starting with Article 1. We're going to hit Article 1 and 2, and please read your Bill of Rights. Then you may come use your mind. I do this with ladies all the time, and so if you would just please.
Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress or grievances.
Number 2 is passed.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Amendment 3, no soldier shall, in the time of peace, be ordered in any house without the consent of the owner, or in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law.
Amendment 4, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue, but upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized.
I have the fifth amendment, so I can't really say anything. No person shall be held to answer for a capital otherwise crime unless on the presentation of the indictment or grand jury, except cases arising in the land or naval forces or the militia, and when in actual service in time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject to the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb. Nor shall it be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation.
Amendment 6. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, to be compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense.
Amendment number 7. In suits at common law, where the value in controversy shall exceed $20, the right of trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined in any court of the United States than according to the rules of common law.
Amendment 8, excessive bail should not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel or unusual punishment inflicted.
Amendment 9, the enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people.
Amendment number 10. Powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people.
We owe so much to these people. These amendments were ratified December 15th, 1791, and they're known as the Bill of Rights. If you've ever been in office, if you've ever been in the military, if you've joined DAR, probably SAR, you take an oath to uphold and support this Constitution. This is what gives us the life that everybody in the world would like to have. Now, I have a little rap that I have used with children in teaching the Constitution. And what I do is I have them line up as 10. Thank you. Okay, let me put this down and just talk. I try to talk quietly when I've got a mic in my hand because I tend to come over too loud. So I will just say that this is a rap that I do with children, what like CAR or junior high kids who are teaching the Constitution. And I would put 10 kids up here and they would each one do part of this rap. But I'm gonna read it through because I think it's cute. And when I was 3 years, I was the Constitution chair for the state DAR, and one of our members wrote this. And she sent it in for one of our contests. And it is the rap about the union of the Constitution of the Bill of Rights. We're the first 10 amendments. We said 10. Ask us nice and we'll tell you again. I'm the First Amendment and I'm still alive. As far as rights, I'll be against that. You have the freedom of religion and speech, peaceful assembly and the press. And when I give you grace, you have the right to redress. The Second Amendment, Amendment number 2, the right to keep and bear arms, I give to you. The Third Amendment, number 3, I have house soldiers strictly up to me. The Fourth Amendment, don't touch my stuff without the probable cause, because I might get robbed. I'm the Fifth Amendment, and I don't have to talk. If you can just walk. I'm the Sixth Amendment, number 6. I have the right to trial and the trial that's quick. I'm number 7. Don't be in a fury. I give you the right to jury. Amendment number 8, and I won't fail. Nothing cruel or unusual, and no excessive bail. Y'all do it, I'm doing right. Amendment number 9. Amendment number 9, if it's people right, I won't refuse it. It's not in the Constitution. You can still use it. Here we are now at the end. You knew I was coming because I'm no amendment number 10. If the Constitution leaves powers to the state or states to its people, I will support those rights like a church does the state. My husband and I are going to excuse ourselves.
But before. I would like to give you this certificate of appreciation for coming and talking to us. I really enjoyed it. How about everybody else? Thank you so much.
Now, you have your homework. Go home and think about them, talk about them with your spouse, because you need to know your Constitution, you need to know why it's important, and what rights you appreciate the most, and they're just 4 little questions, but they are designed to make you think.
Thank you so much.
And if you didn't get your homework, I'm gonna leave some little half sheets of paper over here.
Thanks so much. Yes, thank you.
We thought we had a 3-hour drive, but we left a little bit after 2 and got here at 6. We went through Dallas at 5.
Thank you all for
Do that unless you have to.
Thank you so much for coming out to us. Be a long way back tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So now we have Richard, can you fill us in on the Texas SAR Monument Project?
Let me get the, can I get the?
Yeah,
Yeah, he should be here. I see, I couldn't see him in there.
Dave Zoom, right?
Yeah.
Richard Wood, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I don't know how to share it,
Okay.
especially on iMac.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, there you
Think we should.
You there, Richard?
I'm here. How are you? How are you?
I'm doing good. Let's see if I can get. Do you need to share the screen? You need to.
Yes, please.
Show- Let's see. I'm trying here. I know. Usually you can just click on this and he comes up. What? Where'd he go? Moving. You come do your magic. And I'm gonna see if I can get it up on the screen here.
Same issue or what?
No, that's one thing.
Oh, sure. You know, go back to your Zoom and you say, new share. And then you pick what you want to share. I guess, yeah. Oh, him? I guess. Or unless you got. He has to share it on his side. So, Richard, can you hear us?
I hear you.
Okay, do you have the option to share from your side, because you're sharing? To go into your Zoom meeting?
It says you cannot start screen share while the other participant is sharing. So somebody else is sharing.
Try that now.
Okay, now I can share.
All right.
Let me know when you can see my screen.
Okay.
1 second.
Got it?
Not yet.
Well, we're getting there. I mean, it's showing
You
up
are
over here.
viewing Zoom. Yeah, there we go. So, okay, so now you gotta put this on your screen. You got a low battery in here. Yeah.
Trying to figure out why it's not showing up on the screen up there. So,
It's coming up.
can you see?
It's coming up.
Okay. I'll quit pushing the button.
There you go.
There you go.
Then you just put this in presentation mode, or you can do that.
Okay, you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, I'm going to presentation mode. Is that better?
Yes,
Okay. We ready?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, to the chapter, thank you for giving me a few minutes to talk about this exciting project, which really started about, I don't know, over a year ago, when the executive committee and the Texas SAR president decided that given the amount of time it takes to do things, and with the 250th anniversary coming at us quickly, that we needed to kind of get on the stick and start to put together our plans and raise money for this project. And I'm gonna obviously share what's in this presentation, but I just want to take a few minutes and talk about what we're trying to do, and some of the things we're trying to wrap around this project. So the project's going to be in the Texas State Cemetery. We've got a place picked for it. It's very near the DAR monument and the Texas CAR bench in that cemetery. We've been raising money now for probably 6-7 months. We're off to a good start, but we can do a lot better. And I'll talk about the things we're doing specifically to raise money, multi-pronged approach to raising funds, and a lot of people ask, well, you know, why are we doing this? Well, I think as Texas SAR compatriots, we kind of want to leave our mark, right? I mean, we work hard. Most of us work really hard at building our chapters and supporting our chapters, and contribute a lot to the success of Texas SAR. But the way that I look at this thing is, and it's not going to have our names on it. It's going to have the names of the patriots buried in Texas, whether or not they were in Texas for a long time or just for a short time. To the extent they're buried in Texas, they're going to be recognized. But it's something that I think we can be proud about and proud of, and we can tell our children and our grandchildren that we help support something that's going to be there for a very long time. So it's like, it's like leaving a bit of us, behind as we move on. And it's something we should get excited about. So I'm going to share I'm going to go through kind of the process of design and where it is within the cemetery, where the cemetery is within Austin, because a lot of people have not been to the cemetery. So we've got some photography. And then I'm going to talk about what we're doing. So I'm sharing with you the design concept. And these names that we have here are not the final list of names. There are going to be a lot more names on here, and we're going to need room left for other names. And one thing that I discovered in this journey is there are a lot of Spanish, Hispanic, Texicans, whatever terminology you want to use, that were really major contributors to the effort. And that all really connects back to Galvez. So Bernardo Galvez was, Spanish governor of Louisiana Territory, the Louisiana possession, or whatever you want to describe it as, taken from, that was given to them by the French in settlement of pursuant to a treaty. And my patriot ancestor actually served under Bernardo Galvez in the Lower Mississippi campaign. He served under him at Manchac, just north of New Orleans, and then at New Fort Richmond, which is now where Baton Rouge is. So that's how I got into the SAR. And there are many people that have other connections to Galvez, either in Louisiana, or they contributed cattle to the Galvez troops, supported the Galvez troops, because obviously they needed food, right? And so SAR has decided that, that these men deserve to be recognized for their efforts. So when this thing is finally done, we're going to have the names we all recognize, right? But we're going to have a lot of Hispanic names as well. And that's a task that has not really been begun in earnest. We need to get closer to our fundraising goal to kind of put that into action. Okay. But this is the concept. It's a typical obelisk, right, with the pointed top, and it's going to be very attractive. We haven't finalized the granite, but it's likely to be a red type of granite. Okay. Here are the dimensions. So this thing is going to be high. It's going to be almost 9 feet tall. You see the dimensions here. The outer base dimension is almost 3 feet, obviously square at the base, and tapered a bit from 2.6 down to the bottom to just about 2 feet at the top, and 7 feet from the pedestal. I'll call it the pedestal. Okay. So this is a state cemetery taken on what looks like a beautiful, early summer day, and the place is just immaculate. It's so well done and so well taken care of. It's the burial site of heroes of wars and people that I grew up admiring. Tom Landry, I think, is buried there, and other famous Texans, and there are a number of patriots that are buried here as well. If you haven't been to the Texas State Cemetery, the next time you get to Austin, you need to stop by and stroll through there. You'll be absolutely impressed with it. It is right around the corner from Franklin Barbecue. And so that's supposed to be like the best barbecue in Texas. So you can grab a bite and you can go see the cemetery. It's like 2 blocks away, but a beautiful site. So I'll give you some perspective. So this is a map of Austin. You see in the blue square, those are the Texas State Capitol grounds, and in the red rectangle there is a cemetery. So you can see that's probably like 8-10 blocks away on the east side of I-35. Again, great location. And it's not difficult to get into from 35, or if you're coming from Houston, you're not going to come in 35, you're going to come in, I believe it's like 11th Street, something like that, but very easy access, okay? Here's a little more of a zoom view, and there's something interesting about this, and that is there's something called State Highway 165 that goes through this cemetery, right? And it's this way and it's this way, and it once upon a time it was actually a state highway. It maintains that designation, but obviously there is no traffic through State Highway 165. But they, for historical perspective and maybe other reasons, they have maintained the identity of that road. It's kind of interesting to me. Okay, up here is the entrance, granite. When you walk in from Navasota Street, and you look just from straight ahead, which would be east, you look just north of east, and that is where our monument will be placed. Okay, the DAR monument's almost directly across this sort of vista, across this meadow, right about here is where you would find the DAR monument. And you'll see a picture of that in a second. Okay, and here's another overhead view. Here's Navasota Street. Here's 165, right? Here's the flagway. I call it the flagway. The DAR monument's right here. The CAR bench is right next to it. And then here is our spot right here. And what we're contemplating here is we're contemplating a bench in front of the monument here. This existing monument is the monument to Black legislators of Texas, and a little bit to on the other side, not included in this zoom, is the CAR bench and the DAR monument. Okay. All right. So now let's zoom in and take a look at this. Okay. So now we're looking to the north and northeast. There's the CAR bench. Off screen here to this direction is going to be the DAR monument. Okay. Open area 2 is here. We decided that open area 2 is not adequate for our needs. Here's the African American legislator monument. And on the other side of that, between that monument and this tree, is open area number 1. So now we're standing on the sidewalk and we're looking toward this big oak back here. And there is our spot right here. Okay. Now we don't have all the way back to the tree, but we have plenty of space for our monument here. Okay. So that's looking east. All right. Now we come back the other direction. Here's that CAR bench. And here's the DAR monument. You see, it's got a little embankment around it to keep wash away, keep soil from washing in, right? But a very attractive monument, and that's sort of a red granite as well. We'll probably be very close to this color, okay? And then here's looking back as we walk beyond it, looking back at the bench and the back side of the monument, the DAR monument. Are there any questions so far? We're all good? Okay. So where are we with respect to this project? So the state cemetery has approved, the commission has approved the site of the monument. I say here we've developed 2 preliminary designs. We've actually settled upon the design I just showed you. And we have obtained an indicative bid for the development and installation of the project for about $55,000. And that's based upon that preliminary design. Okay. And that's turnkey. So that's design work, that's construction, that's shipment, and that's installation with a base. So that's everything. Okay. Excuse me, I'm gonna get a drink of water. So some of you know who were at the, at the,
Can I do that?
at the state meeting.
But you want to broadcast this onto the projector, right?
Right,
Well,
right.
he's still broadcasting, so I think we lost.
Viewing options. Where's the audio?
Do you still hear me?
Right.
Y'all hear me?
Question.
Tom, do you hear me?
Hold on.
Yeah, we can hear
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, we had a glitch here, but I think
You can put the mic by a speaker for now.
I can do that too.
I think
And
so.
can you get, let's see here. And we got it up on the screen. Hold on just a second.
Let's do a test now.
Let's.
Rich, go ahead and say something.
Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I don't hear anything.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not very efficient.
Yeah. Oh, well, I can, I tell you what, we can Bluetooth it into this,
Can you?
yeah,
Oh, yeah, let's do that. That's the easiest way to do it.
we have done,
Turn that off.
just turn that off and then. Give us just a second here, Richard. We're trying to.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm not going anywhere.
Okay,
Yeah,
and it's the tile audio.
right there.
Okay, say something, Richard.
Something.
Is that not right?
Can you do that on your computer? You can, right?
What?
Hello?
Play your audio through that?
Yeah,
Hello?
Yeah. Hang on one sec. File audio, that one
I think so. Here, making the,
Hello?
already.
Still good? Not good?
Get through the computer, unfortunately.
hold on just a second. Let me see, let me go back to this. Here, let me do
Hang
this.
on.
Let's do this. It's got them both. There. Right now it's trying to find both of them in it.
What's this one on top?
It's a little small speaker. But I don't know why it's.
We had this one.
Okay. Say something, Richard.
I'm not hearing them through
Can you
this.
hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hello, Tom?
Yeah, just a second here.
We can Yeah, we're just not hearing you through the system.
Hold on. Okay, say something now, Richard.
Can you hear me?
Oh.
Still?
I
Still can't hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
tried
we
that.
tried
It doesn't
that.
come through. It's.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, not through the loudspeakers, the problem.
Let me see that.
Can you hear me now? Yeah, it sounds like a local issue.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Richard. I'll just hold it from here.
Okay. So we began our fundraising efforts in April. And we're off to a good start. When we walked out of the Board of Managers meeting, we had $11,000 in pledges. That's April. Okay. Today we're at almost 20,000 in pledges and about $11,000 in the bank as of the end of August. But these funds have come from less than 50 members and a few chapters. Okay. We've got about 3,000 members in the Texas SAR. So if every member gave $20, we would have already gotten our money, right? So with respect to SAR members, we just need to get excited about this, and we don't need to give a lot of money, but if every member can give $25, we don't need every member to be contributing. Half of our membership at $25 gets us done, plus some. So we just need to build enthusiasm around this. But knowing that sometimes it's, it's tough for some people to contribute to things like this, and they've got other things they've got to put their money into, and some are on a fixed budget. Understand that. So we've taken a multi-pronged approach to our fundraising. So one thing we've done is we have created a GoFundMe page, and this is the link. And Tom, I'll email this to you this evening when we're done here. But this fundraiser is intended really to appeal to people who are not members of SAR. Okay, and the messaging around this fundraising effort is around the diverse heroes of the revolution. So we're trying to appeal to the Galvez patriots, okay? Because I think most Americans, and certainly a lot of Hispanic Americans who've been here a long time, they don't understand the contribution of Tejanos or whatever term we want to use, people of Spanish extraction, and people like mine of French extraction who came from France, who served under Galvez, their contributions. So we tell a story in this webpage about the involvement of many peoples, Spanish, French, Native American, others, that made this possible. Okay, so if you know friends who would be interested in contributing to this, yeah, GoFundMe takes a big chunk of the contribution, but you can send them this link. Tom, if you can share it with the membership, you can, and if you are an SAR member, you can just go to our website and not have to pay GoFundMe the fee to contribute there. Now you will pay the PayPal fee, but it's a lot less than the GoFundMe share, right? But we have a goal there of $20,000. And there's only been, in 3 weeks since we launched this GoFundMe, there's only been one contribution, $50. And it happens to be from an SAR member who's on the committee, who wanted to try to get momentum built. But we've got to have a multi-pronged approach to this if we're going to make this thing here in the next 2 years, build it and get it installed by July 4th of 2026. Okay. So a couple of other things around fundraising. The Board of Managers authorized an online auction to take place next spring. I reached out to a woman that I know very well in the DAR here in Houston, who has considerable experience with online auctions, and I've asked her for help, and she's quite busy, but I think I can get her to help us out. And really, the unlike auctions we have at the silent auctions we have at the annual meetings, I just felt like if we were going to be successful raising a considerable amount of money, we have to have nice things that women would love to have in their home. So, that I know my wife doesn't want a flintlock. She doesn't want, guns. She doesn't want swords. She doesn't want things like that. But there are things that I think appeal to women that are really applicable to the period and really applicable to the cause and the revolution, that women would be proud to have in their home and to, have put money toward this. So that's what we're trying to do there. And I don't have details done yet because I'm still waiting for help. I don't think I can do this myself and do a proper job of it. So I need a lady involved in this effort who's done this sort of thing before and has, really interesting ideas about, who to go to get contributions, how we manage the auction, things like that. So more to come on that. And then finally, we've solicited $20,000, 10 each for 2024 and 2025 from the George Washington Endowment Fund. So this weekend is the leadership meeting in Kentucky, and I'm unable to make it. I promised my wife a vacation, so we're going out of town. But Texas SAR President Sam Massey is going to be making the presentation on my behalf. to leadership, and we won't get an answer immediately, but hopefully within a month or two, we can get a commitment for $10,000 each to be funded in 2024 and 25. If that happens, we will have 40,000 of our roughly 55,000 left to go. And if we can just build enthusiasm within the chapters and the membership, we can be successful somewhat in an auction. I think we can get home, but we just got to raise awareness, and we got to get some folks excited about this, talking about this. I think it's a worthwhile investment from Texas SAR. And that's my presentation this evening.
Okay, thanks. We'll be in discussion on this, and I'll get back with you. Thank you so much for taking your time. Appreciate you, Richard.
Okay. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, bye. Okay, I think everything is fine now. Okay. Let's see here. Where are we? I just might just say, so okay with you. Basically, we talked about this in our executive committee meeting we had earlier this week. We decided to, again, I think at Pete's request the month before, we decided we would bring it to you, let y'all hear about this, hear what's going on. And the point of it is that we're probably, as a chapter, we're probably going to contribute some out of our chapter funds. And we're going to talk about that, and we'll let you know, come to you again for a vote on that, make sure you all are comfortable.
Do the chapters get any recognition on the oil?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Not that I've heard about yet. About that. But again, and then if any of you that feel errors, I've already wrote a check. If you feel errors, it's a pretty easy thing to do. It's just a matter of sending a check to our state treasurer, put on it, it's for the memorial fund. So I think that's probably all we need to say right now, and we'll talk about it again next time. Will really be the time after this, but we're gonna get there. Okay. Okay, I think everything's done.
So Tom, kind of touched on this a little bit. Our next meeting is going to be a joint meeting with the DAR. It'll be here, and it'll be October the 19th. So hopefully y'all can make it. That'll be a one meeting. Here I can meet with them, but it hasn't been filed. The meeting schedule on the back, along with the officers, and then also on the back is a beautiful woman here. She's turning 100 that wants some birthday cards. You can look at that. She was in World War II. She was also a nurse, if I remember correctly, in the McKinney School District.
Correct.
And if I'm correct, Tom, she is in Bonham, Texas, right?
Yeah, she's up there at basically the home there in Bonham that's close to the VA hospital.
She's turning 100, I believe, October the
4th.
October 4th. So if you happen to have time, write even just hello or a birthday card. That's trying to get 100 cards.
100 cards. My vision would be they'd be dragging the bags of mail into it. Okay, that's my vision, guys. So.
And then as far as any of the new business, some of that's on the back there. The state meetings, all board of managers at College Station, October the 20th to the 22nd. Then the annual conference upcoming April the 11th and 14th of 2024. It's got the information where you can register for that. Or go to either of those. Also, one of the handouts here was for the state fair that's coming up. And it has a lot of different activities there that are going on. I know that the DAR has a big presence there, and a lot of people have come to the SAR through the state fair. And I believe that we have right on the as far as the color guard.
Yes.
Did Dr. Bob say that the color guard is there a lot?
Yes. Yes.
So
they wear the uniform.
We'll have a good presence there at the state fair. there any other new business that anyone wants to bring from the floor?